everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah Saib. If you're new here, I'd love to have you subscribe to my Saib Tribe family channel. Give this video a thumbs up, hit the bell button so you know every time I upload a video, and let's get started. Okay, so if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you are a mama-to-be, congratulations, or you're on your second or third or fourth child, or you're just curious about pregnancy symptoms. So I am glad to have you here, and I just want to do a really quick disclaimer that no two pregnancies are the same, no two women's bodies are the same. Everybody has their own unique journey. So if you are or not experiencing some of these symptoms, that is totally fine. This was just my personal journey, and I really think that we need to really be mindful about supporting women who have differences and similarities as us. So anyways, let's go ahead and actually get into the video now. Okay, pregnancy symptoms in the first trimester. So if you watched any of my previous videos, you probably know by now I have a almost 2.5-year-old toddler boy. His name is Bodhi, and he was born October 18th in 2017. And I found out that I was pregnant with Bodhi probably right around like the pushing 7-week mark. And I found out March, like middle of March 2 years ago. So my first symptom, it was so funny, you guys, because I'm sure some of you can relate. I wasn't feeling any like true pregnancy symptoms until I took that pregnancy test. And then I swear, you guys, I woke up the next day and I had like all these crazy ailments and I felt legit crazy. So comment down below if you guys experienced that. I don't know if it was just something in my head, like once I knew I was pregnant, I started having symptoms, but I felt pretty okay for the first 7 weeks. So anyway, you guys, my first symptom though was being exhausted. And when I say exhausted, I don't just mean like I didn't sleep and I needed some extra coffee. I literally felt like I got ran over by a truck, an airplane. I literally felt like I was so exhausted. I could not catch up on sleep. It's like no matter how much I tried to do things, I would just be running at zero energy. I felt like one of those cows that like you can tip over when they're sleeping and they just like pass out. I would be doing an activity in my classroom and then all of a sudden I would just be like lights out, so tired. So that was my first symptom, was just pure exhaustion. I couldn't keep up. Second symptom was headaches. You guys, my headaches lasted throughout my entire pregnancy. I kid you not. I don't know if it was, and I've had some other medical conditions too previous to my pregnancy, which included headaches. So I don't know if my headaches just came on stronger because of my previous medical symptoms. But anyways, my headaches were out of control. I had headaches every single day. I would wake up with a headache. I would go to bed with a headache. I would have a headache during the middle of the day. And I believe my doctor approved Tylenol during that time. Double check with your doctor before you take anything. I am not a medical professional, so please listen to your gut and listen to your doctor if you have any questions about like medications and the safety and use of them. But I believe I was able to take Tylenol for headaches, so I did that throughout my entire pregnancy. But I did have headaches every single day. It was exhausting. My next symptom that I had in the first trimester was congestion. My nose, my ears, my throat, everything. I felt like I was sick, and you know, it was my first pregnancy, so I didn't really know what to expect and I didn't really know what was deemed normal. I thought I was sick all the time, but that is a huge symptom, and it's so funny. So the congestion lasted from the first trimester all the way until I gave birth. And then after I delivered Bodhi, it went away pretty much on its own. And so it kind of reassured me that that was a symptom. But the whole pregnancy, I felt like I was sick. So anyways, that was symptom number 3. So I was exhausted, I had headaches, and I was congested all the time. It was crazy. In my first trimester, I also craved Indian food. I craved Indian food every single day. Now, Indian food is something that I eat on a normal basis anyways, so it wasn't like this crazy craving or like out of this world craving, but I wanted it every single day, and that's not typically like me. Foods that I were like heck no, no way, not happening was chicken. The thought of chicken or raw chicken or just the idea of chicken gave me the heebie-jeebies. It freaked me out completely. Like it was so funny because I wanted fried chicken, but I couldn't prepare it myself. If I went to a restaurant and it was like in a sandwich or something, or it came with like macaroni and cheese, I would eat the living heck out of it. But if I had to see it being prepared and see it from like beginning stages to being cooked in front of me, I couldn't do it. So that was my third kind of like symptom in my first trimester. Did not want chicken, but I loved Indian food. Another pregnancy symptom, which I know is super, super, super common, and I'm sure if you guys clicked on this video, you want to know the itty gritty, the real details. Constipation. That SHIT for reals is for reals, you guys. It is no joke. You hear women complain about it all the time, but let me tell you something really freaking weird. So I think it was towards the end of my first trimester, I started realizing that my body wasn't like passing gas. Like I wasn't having that relief of when you pass gas, that like relief in your stomach that you feel. I was no longer doing that. And I don't know if it was because there was so much like pressure and going on in my body, but I am telling y'all, for 9 months, I don't think I really passed gas. And when I gave birth, all that air and gas that was inside of me, it just like, it came out. And not in like this crazy, like explosive way or disgusting way that you would think, but that pressure when I delivered Bodhi, all of that pressure came off my stomach, and instantly I just felt like this air come out of me. It was almost like my body now had enough room to release everything that was like inside of me. It was the strangest thing that happened. But that is another symptom that I had in the first trimester, extreme constipation, and I wasn't really able to pass gas, which I guess that's how I could explain it. Okay. Oh, and just to let you guys know, because I know I will get a lot of questions about this, and I always do when I talk about my pregnancy story. I don't know why mamas want to know your before and after weight. I mean, I get it, but in my head, I'm like, as long as you are happy, healthy, and whole, the number on the scale shouldn't reflect who you are as a mama. So with that said, I will tell you my beginning weight pre-baby and my ending weight when I delivered Bodhi. But really and truly, you guys, so I'm not even 5 foot on a good day. I have an extremely thin and tiny body frame. I am just genetically petite. So my numbers are going to look dramatically different than somebody else who's normal or even average size. So with that said, before I had Bodhi, my beginning weight was about 104 to 106. And when I gave birth to Bodhi, I believe I weighed 128. So during my pregnancy, I gained about 24, 25 pounds. And for my body and for my height and weight, that was the number that my doctor said I should gain. So that was my experience, and I just have a very smaller frame body than probably most people do. Okay, second trimester symptoms. You guys, I still was exhausted. Like the exhaustion actually, I think, got worse and worse and worse. It's so funny. A lot of people say in the second trimester, their exhaustion kind of goes away and they get a little bit of energy back. For me personally, mine did the opposite. I felt like I just fell out of it all the time. And I did work about a week up until my water broke. My water broke, I don't know if you guys know this, but my water broke a little over a month early. So I had Bodhi about like the 4 to 5 week mark early than I should have. And so I had just happened to just take a week off of work because I was feeling that crappy, that crummy. And then within that week, my water broke. And I'm so thankful that I gave my body at least that week to rest before I had to go deliver my child almost a month early. But anyways, back to second trimester symptoms. Okay, second trimester, exhaustion. My headaches were full force. It was awful. Congested still. My head, my nose, my throat, everything. I felt sick all the time. I still did not want chicken. In the second trimester though, I did crave mustard. It would be so funny, like Dustin and I would go somewhere and I'd be like, oh, I hope they have good mustard there, which is so weird. But I loved mustard during my pregnancy, and that's not typically something that I would like. Also, I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this. I noticed that when I would lay down in my second trimester, my heart felt like it was going to beat out of my chest. Like I could feel it in my throat, I could feel it in my chest, like I could feel it in my stomach, in my feet. It was like this constant, like very deep and strong heartbeat, and it would prevent me from going to sleep. And on top of that, I had the worst insomnia, you guys, which is funny because you'd think because I was so exhausted during the day that my body would just kick in and I'd go to sleep at night. That was not the case for me. And I think that's part of why I felt so crappy, is because I wasn't sleeping during the day, and at night, I couldn't get to sleep either. And I know that's somewhat common. I know like there's so many hormones and like things happening to your body, but I got my butt kicked. I had the worst insomnia. And then when I did sleep, I'd have those crazy vivid dreams during the second trimester. So I felt like I was just battling like exhaustion after exhaustion after exhaustion. Plus with like the heart palpitations when I would lay down. And I think I did a little bit of research on this. I think that just happens when your body starts making a lot of blood, or you have extra blood or something along those lines. Your heart will tend to like pound more or race more, or you'll get like that pounding feeling. And I believe I did bring it up to my doctor, and I think that she said it was a pretty normal standard symptom. Again, you guys, please, if you have questions, ask your doctor. I'm not a medical professional, and this was just my experience. But yeah, during the second trimester, it was brutal. I pretty much wasn't sleeping at all, and I was working full time still as well at that point. So I do want to touch base, and I do want to talk about something that happened to me during my second trimester. This is extremely and a very vulnerable moment for me. So the reason why I want to share it though is because if you know somebody, or if you are somebody who is maybe experiencing this, I just want you to hear what my personal experience with this was. So for those of you who do or do not know, I was adopted. So I have no medical history, I have no family history, I have no records of anything past. Totally fine. I have the best childhood, I have the best mom and dad, I am so grateful. But going and being pregnant, they ask you all these series of like genetic questions. Do you have this, this, and that? Is this in your family? Blah, blah, blah. And they do all this genetic screening. Well, my doctor, I believe, advised me to get an additional panel. I don't know if it was an additional panel, but I know that it was just to give me a baseline of where I was starting, because I had obviously no records of myself or my family. So around like 15 to 17 weeks, they did some type of genetic testing, and for me being a carrier for spinal muscular atrophy. So I'm just a carrier. I don't have the actual expressed gene within myself, but I am a carrier for it. And you guys, my heart and my soul fell. I didn't really know what that was, and so I had to Google it. Please, I'm not going to get too much into it, but go ahead and Google it. I went to a really deep, dark place when I found out. I was scared. I went through all these emotions. I was angry. I was mad. I was pissed. I was in denial. I was shocked. I cried a lot. And it wasn't just because I found out that I was a carrier for spinal muscular atrophy, but I didn't know anything about my birth parents. Still to this day, I don't. I don't have any information on them, and it made me so mad. It made my heart hurt to think that that was the only piece of information I have in my entire life about my birth parents, is that one of them or both of them, and again, you guys, I don't really know how all this works. I learned genetics like back in like high school. I can't remember, but they must have been a carrier because I'm a carrier. And for some reason that made me so mad to think, wow, that's the only freaking information I know about you guys. Thanks a lot. That's the only thing I know to this day, is that my parents must have been a carrier because now I'm a carrier. And that like pissed me off for some reason. That made me so mad that that was the only information that I have to this day about my parents. And after accepting all of that, then I thought about my child, my unborn child. So my mom, thank goodness my mom was with me. My mom is my heart and soul. She is my rock. She is really and truly the best thing in my life and the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, for my mom to be able to adopt me. Went with me to the genetic counselor. She went with me to see the specialist. She went with me to like these counseling sessions where they show you videos and photos and they tell you stories about what a child looks like who has muscular atrophy. And you guys, for anybody who's ever experienced this or who actually has this or who knows somebody who might be struggling with a very similar situation, I was so scared of the unknown. I was so scared of the unknown. I was so scared that myself and Dustin would not be good enough parents to help support a child in that position. And I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I don't know. And I don't think you can judge anybody who's in that position. I don't know what I would have done. I wish I could tell you without a doubt that I do know what I would have done, but I don't know what I would have done if my child, in fact, did have muscular atrophy. I'm not sure. And I hated myself for not knowing. And I got scared that Bodhi was going to have it. So, after counseling, after more genetic testing, after seeing a specialist, after figuring out what my life would possibly look like, Dustin finally got the blood work done, and it came back that he was not a carrier. We are so grateful. I feel so blessed and I feel so fortunate that with today's technology and everything that we are able to find out prematurely that Dustin is not a carrier. So genetically, Bodhi could be a carrier, but the gene was not expressed in him. So Bodhi does not have muscular atrophy. However, he could be a carrier, which my husband and I are going to get him tested. It's not something that's a high priority for me at this point in my life, but it's something that I would just like to know if he is a carrier for. And I think that will be a story for him to learn that I can pass down to him, like, hey, like my parents must have had this. You don't know my parents. I never knew my parents, but your mama has it. She's a carrier, and now you might be a carrier. So I'm really hoping that one day this can be like a very teachable moment and a lesson for Bodhi. But we haven't gotten that far yet. But I just wanted to share that little story. I know that was really long, totally off topic, but you guys, week 17, I hit a wall after hearing all that news. And it was really hard for me. So anyway, that was second trimester. Let's carry on with the video. Third trimester, I still was exhausted. I still had headaches every single day. I was still constipated. I still had like that head cold feeling at all times. I was not eating chicken, but I really wanted to eat butter. I remember in my third trimester, I would eat Eggos with the most disgusting amount of butter on them. It was disgusting, and like even thinking about it now grosses me out. And even to this day, I love butter, but y'all, I was putting like a tub of butter on one Eggo, my Lego waffle. It was nasty. But those were my symptoms. My pregnancy, I guess in some ways I'm extremely grateful. I never had morning sickness. I never experienced some of the other pains and ailments that some women talk about, but because I was so exhausted and I felt sick, literally legit sick all the time in my like head cold wise, it took a toll on my body. Okay, you guys, I just realized really quick that I forgot to talk to you about my body aches during my second and third trimester symptoms. My body aches and what else? Oh, and how swollen I got towards the very end. So I know these are all normal symptoms, but imagine a Barbie doll and like, you know how you can like pull the legs apart? That is exactly what I felt like my entire second and third trimester, I thought my legs were going to come off my body. I was so uncomfortable. I had so much pain of like from my hips down, even in my arms. It was very strange. I felt like my body was just expanding and my frame could not keep up with the growing and the progression of this baby growing inside of me. I felt like I was going to split in half. It was awful. So that was another symptom in my second and third trimester. But I also forgot to tell you that at 23 weeks, I finally felt Bodhi kick. And it wasn't like the jabbing or the kicking that most people talk about, or the butterfly feeling. It felt, it kind of felt like a string. So if there was like a thread going through both sides of my hand, it kind of felt like somebody was like slowly pulling a string out of my, like out of my stomach. And that sensation kept happening time and time again. And it finally dawned on me that was him moving. I was feeling kicks or moves, but it just wasn't the feeling that I thought I would be feeling of like an actual like kick or a punch or something. So at 23 weeks, I finally felt him kick. And I was very, very, very happy. And I believe right around that mark too, about 22 weeks is when I was able to finally start to wear maternity clothes. And you guys, I was such a proud mama. I wanted to wear maternity clothes so, so bad. And I guess it was just the way I was carrying Bodhi, and also because my body frame is just more on the petite side. I wore my normal clothes pretty much my entire pregnancy. I think I wore 2 pairs of pregnancy pants and I wore normal shirts the entire time, which some people are like, middle finger to you, that's crazy, you suck. But really and truly, I wanted to wear like those cute maternity outfits. I wanted to wear those cute like ruched shirts. I wanted to wear, you know, the cute whatever, this and that, because I was like, I liked the look that I was pregnant, I guess. So anyways, you guys, I know that's a little off topic, but yes, by 23 weeks, I was finally able to wear maternity clothes. So, yeah, you guys. Oh, and one more thing. In my third trimester, I got so incredibly swollen. I looked like I had Botox in my face, like in my arms, in my legs. It's like all the water, all the everything that was like on its final stages of growing this baby just kind of went whoop. Like I just blew up like a sponge. And I know that's a very normal symptom, but I didn't really have too much swelling until probably the end of the second trimester, maybe more so probably the beginning of the third trimester. But it was literally, I woke up one morning and I just went like this. My whole body did. So that took a little bit of an adjustment, and my feet were so swollen too. It almost hurt to like walk on them. They were so swollen. So anyway, you guys, I wanted to add that in there, and let's get back to the video. And then in the third trimester, the weirdest freaking thing happened, you guys. You guys should Google this, because I mean, I don't even know how to explain it to you. It's the weirdest thing. So I'm only 4'11", and for my frame being so extremely small, I have a very, very, very big chest. You probably are not able to tell anymore, because after childbirth, my boobs went to the ground. I have to roll them up. I have to tuck them into a bra. I have to wear like 3 bras. I try to minimize these bad boys on a daily basis, but before babies, I was double D, triple D, which is insane. It's uncomfortable then, it's uncomfortable now. I personally dislike having a large chest. If I would love to get a reduction. I'd love to just have them completely gone off my body. Yeah, anyways, with that said, in my third trimester, you guys, my boobs went from being almost a triple D to, oh lordy, she's gonna poke somebody's eye out. I went from being belly to boob to just boob. And it was so much boob. And it was so uncomfortable. But let me tell you the weird thing that happened. So, you guys can Google this, because I don't want to get too much in this. But because I'm so breasted, let me see if I can like move the camera a little bit. So, your armpit, you guys. So, this is my armpit. So, you know how people have side boobs? I have side boob. This is actually very small for me right now. This is super, super small. This is like normal. When I was pregnant, this little part of my boob came out. I could not close my arm. And what was happening was there was like this big ball. Sorry, you guys, I wasn't necessarily anticipating showing you my armpits today, but my armpits were so swollen and there was so much fatty tissue inside my armpits. It looked like I had a golf ball. My armpit, and I wish I could show you pictures. I don't think I even ever took a picture because it was so gross. I had a golf ball sized tissue bump in my breast. It hurt so bad, and it was on both armpits. And still to this day, it's kind of weird. I apologize. I was really not planning on showing you my hairy pits, but still to this day, I have like fatty armpits, and it's because my chest is so large that your breast tissue actually spreads all the way into your underarm. And especially for me, because I'm so big chested, I think that's what was happening. You guys, the amount of pain that I had in my armpits, I could not put deodorant on. I could not put my arms down because my side boob was so large. It just looked like I had an extra like boob right here. I remember going to my doctor and I was like crying in pain, in tears. And I was like, oh my God, like is milk gonna come out of my armpits? Like I had concerns. I was so scared. And then I'm like, do I have to buy a bra for my armpits? It was such an uncomfortable and such like a weird feeling. And I never knew that that was like part of pregnancy. And my doctor got back to me after a few days and after she looked at my armpits and she said, that is breast tissue. She says, if you're still having that same problem after you deliver and after you are breastfeeding, I'm gonna go ahead and have it biopsied because that will tell me that it's not just fatty breast tissue. But my doctor was right. I love my doctor. I hope and pray that if and when I get pregnant, she will be my doctor again. But she told me, you know, if it's still happening after the pregnancy, we will get it biopsied immediately. Like we'll have you in the office that same day and we'll get it biopsied. But come to find out, it was just, I have a lot of fatty tissue in my armpits, you guys. So that was my third trimester symptom. And then you guys, lastly, I just wanted to like really quickly touch base on depression. However you want to call it, I definitely had the postpartum depression. And you guys, some women are really open talking about it. Some women are like, oh yeah, I experienced that, blah, 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 this and that. Be supportive. Be uplifting. You don't really know what that feels like to have a small child and then to feel those types of emotions and feelings. I hit rock bottom after I had birth. I struggled so incredibly hard. My brain took me to really terrible, deep, dark places. My anxiety was through the roof. And now looking back on it, I think I had some of these symptoms in my third trimester also. I was not a happy person. I was not happy being a mother. I would lie to people all the time. People would be like, oh my gosh, like, aren't you so excited you have your newborn? Oh my gosh, are you so happy? And I remember thinking in my head, I have to lie to these people because they're gonna think I'm absolutely crazy if I tell them no. I would say, oh, I'm so happy. I love being a mama. This is so great. I was miserable. I think the only people who really knew just how much I was suffering was my amazing husband and my struggle with depression. And you guys, I think I suffered with the depression for at least a year. And now I can say that I'm on the other side of it, and it's been 2 years, you know, now, and I'm in a different mindset, mentally, physically, emotionally. But depression is a real thing, and however you want to call it, the baby blues, the postpartum depression, whatever, I had a really hard time, and it took me a very long time to get over that, and I'm so grateful for the support system that I have. So that is me telling you the real nitty-gritty about my pregnancy. Yes, and I am worried. I know you're probably thinking, well, shoot, isn't that going to happen the second time? I have no idea, and absolutely that is a concern for me. And my husband and I have had, you know, long conversations about if and when it happens again, and if and when I get pregnant again, and what we'll do this time if I'm really that depressed. We will do things so differently this time around because now that I've experienced it once, I think that I have more confidence going into my pregnancy, just knowing the signs, knowing what to expect, knowing that my symptoms are pretty normal for the most part. So anyways, you guys, I hope this video was helpful. The purpose of this video is not just to say, like, these are my symptoms, but it's, you guys, you're not alone. Whatever you're feeling right now, today, tomorrow, in your next pregnancy, in your previous pregnancy, you're not alone. And I hope that this channel and this community will all support each other on just loving our differences, loving our similarities. Everybody's journey is so beautiful. So anyway, you guys, leave your comment down below. I love hearing people's pregnancy symptoms. I think it's so funny, all the different things that happen to women's bodies. I love it. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, comment, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
And I got this joy.